Okay, got the Australian dollar up here with a 5-period RSI daily. Um, just gonna, this is like the most fun currency to trade because it's moving quite a bit. And it's actually something that you can make 100 pips in a couple days on this currency pair because of the ranges are so huge and they're so dramatic. I mean, it seems like there's so many great setups in this currency pair. Certainly just looking at the daily here, just to start off in the most obvious turning points, you know, without being no PhD needed, you don't need to go to college for this. Okay. So that to me, that's the lay of the land, and anything can happen, but I'm not expecting a 500 pip drop in 30 seconds, but I've seen it. It's happened. I'm sure this could have been, I mean, these are insane moves. Amazing. Amazing moves there. But from the standpoint of risk, um, I really think the 100 pips, you've drawn a trend line on here and it breaks, you know, it, it just broke for like 150 pips, 200 pips. Uh, it's very significant. And certainly this crushing, super tight divergence here at the top of RSI, just wow. Once you broke this, I would say for all the confirmation, I would say that's probably one of the better trades in so many pips per day. High velocity, quick and dirty like this. This is probably like 3 days up here. Yeah, it's like 3 days up, bam, and then 1 day pullback. Then doesn't even take a breath, and then bam, up. So I'm gonna be buying in here for sure. I think that's a no-brainer buy. Of course, are you gonna get filled in the next 4 hours? Probably not. That's the stickler for me. I want to get I want to start making money now. So I guess I could make the argument for, oh, I'll just buy right now. Actually, I probably am long a little bit of this already because I always buy into these. I'm a sucker for a plunge, so like on this plunge here, I'd already be in here and just getting annihilated. But that's the daily. I guess you got time to it. You're only going to lose 200 pips here. Maybe $20 on a 1K. I mean, if you can't handle losing $20, then I don't know. But imagine you're trading 1Ks, you're down 20, then you make it back your 20, and then when you go into this up and down drama, you're making 100 pips in that month. Every few days you're making 100 pips. It's a 100 pip swing, and so just counting your risk on this, and then I would come in with this trend line to bolster my entry argument into this little cradle that's kind of forming. It's kind of like a cat's cradle thing with strings. When you start drawing it on these, if you go to NetDania, a German charting site, I don't know how to pronounce it, NetDania, and that'll automatically draw trend lines on close. You can set it, and you can create these spirals. Yeah, but the dollar to the Australian dollar here, go to candles, and you can't really see here, but it probed a little lower. Nicked the bottom here if somebody had stops in here, but I'm sure there's a bunch of stops all up in here. So this could still cave in here. And where would the cave-in stop if it's going to thrust down into, certainly this would be all the way to here. It could crush all these. People that are breakout sellers are going to sell there, and the people that think, oh, well, that's where everybody's stop is, I'm going to get in. Or, all the people that manipulate the market, thank God, so we can have some great price action. everyone wants price action, but they don't want anybody to manipulate the market. I don't know what that's about. Like market manipulation, like it's a bad thing, huh? The more the merrier. I say manipulate it quicker though, because I'm sick and tired of waiting for these patterns to resolve. Um, Now here's the daily view. You zoom out one notch and the whole picture changes to, oh yeah, looks like maybe it could just keep tanking. Certainly this is just a daily chart for the weekly traders. Certainly they're all bearish, right? Because it's like, look, it's making lower lows. I know, but how long is that going to go on? And that's the problem with the market, is the pace of it. And how long is that going to go on? Now, I would say in the long term, it may have to come all the way down into here and just kind of drift down and find a perfect balanced harmonic point there. But I think it's interesting psychologically that this currency pairs, when you're looking at the par number here, in the big picture, it's kind of fascinating to look way out. I think I can put um, see if I can see how these gold handles that are bigger, because they're based on on the gold market. So the gold handle here is blue actually, but I think it's interesting if you go to the weekly, monthly, that dollar to the Swiss franc, or I'm sorry, dollar to the Australia to the U.S. That the par value is pegged up here by this. Now if you can get way out, I can't go all the way out to the next handle of psychologically dollar for dollar. I think that's an interesting. I'm just totally fascinated by that, especially when the United States and the Canadian dollar were exactly on par, totally matched. I thought that was a very interesting situation. That was it was funny because you can just drive across a bridge and you're in Canada, and I thought, wow, there's no spread. Well, at least, maybe a few pips. But of course, at the bank, the spread. I asked the banker one day when I came in there with some real money, and I said, yeah, how much if I gave you $100? How come the spread was 5,000 pips, I think. That's if you're in the cash, walking and talking to a teller. So Forex, you get a deal. But anyways, that's the. I'm just going to go back to this other template. But unfortunately, got to rescale this every time I get into it. Go to the fixed scale screen, because that's one thing you can't do is fix the scale, because it's going to change. See, but I think if you fix the scale and imagine a market that could just keep on going. Because the daily time frames, a whole different pace, a whole different patience level of waiting for the better setups. On the daily, you don't come very often. So, but doesn't mean you can't use it to scalp, because you can see where all the drama, where the contention points are gonna be. You can see it coming. All you need to do is find the most recent lows and just put these in, and you'll see how this is just such an important price. It's just so terribly key of importance right now. If I had to just strip everything off this chart and go with the most basic view of any entry that would have confluence in the future, the next day, the next 3 days, even if it's nothing but going to be one of these where I'm buying into this for these days up, that's great trade. Even if you got in here late, like you bought here, you got back to break even, and you made some. And if you were buying into that whole plunge, of course, but I'm actually using a scaled a scaled entry technique. And of course, this number here, 97 cents. That's funny. That's 3 cents below like a spread. Now that would be a kind of a spread you can handle, you know, if you went to the bank. But no, they just kill you there at the bank, you know. This is a crazy little notch here. It's such a big deal, that price, and really it's nearly right at the round handle. How weird is that? I can't even tell you how retarded trading is. And then the next handle that becomes the next pivot point, as people would say. I mean, if I hear pivot point one more time, I guess everybody has there's words you can't use anymore, you know. So, but I don't want to be that way. I'm not a mean trader. I'm just an angry trader. All right, so yeah, to make that buy argument, this is a handle. This is a pivot. I do want to hang my hand off of that. That's a big deal. But I want to see this beautiful drift down into, I mean, this sell-off, that's just an incredible opportunity forming in my mind. And then certainly from the RSI standpoint, I can make the argument that being down here like this, you're coming right into this, drawing trend lines on RSI. Of course, 5 period is a little bit, you know, you got to be kind of careful. You can get a little carried away, you know. You just can't draw too many lines. And the moving averages are cool, but I just really think the moving averages can be, it's kind of messy on the screen, I guess. But who am I to say? I mean, my chart looks like a mess, right? But I like to draw these kind of things where treating it as if it is price, and something happens to RSI as it starts to get into this crazy, as if it's falling over, and the price is merging higher. So I definitely think that, you know, in the long run, these are all going to be great entry prices down in here. Like all this stuff right here, just premium, you know, high probability bounce zone. And of course, if they could stretch it to here, I'd buy even more. And then I would bet the ranch, just like when gold was tanking. You've really got to go against the all of the classic. You got to go against the herd at that point. But you can't be too early into these things. I mean, certainly when it was plunging into this, I definitely started buying because there was really no way to not buy that for my style of trading. I was forced to get into that drama. And eventually, you know, eventually, of course, each one of these slices is a month. So how much hang time do you have? Like how much patience do you have? But isn't it interesting from a secular point of view, just a monthly, I mean, trading is dumb. You know, take all that stuff and throw it away, all that stuff. Take all the I mean, the market's making its own Gann angles. The market's making its own stupid 100, 300 pip, 200 pip moves, and literally turning at the end of the day and going the other way. I can't even believe how retarded it is all day long here. You know, it's dumb. It's dumb stuff. But if you have patience, then you're gonna make boatloads of money. If you could have bought down here right at the end of the month, isn't it funny that just happens to be the end of the month? Like, oh, what you mean? The banks are rolling their money over at the end of the month? I've never heard of such a thing. You can put a cycle thing on there, and you can look at the stars, and you can run this and that. But when it comes down to it, look how it turns at the end of the month. Okay, the end of the month. You know, okay, here it didn't turn on a dime, but it definitely went into another distribution phase. And by the end of the month, this move here happened so quickly. Break out of this this weekly drama here of just chatter crap, and then come down and smash. You know, that's the trade, and you know, that's the trade I'm looking at.